Tonight I'm gonna show what you've been missing. I'm sorry I don't pay you no attention. Tonight I'ma show you off, off, off. Tonight I'ma show you off, off, off. Tonight I'm gonna show what you've been missing. I'm sorry I don't pay you no attention. Tonight I'ma show you off, off, off. Tonight I'ma show you off, off, off. Okay, now hop up in that Rover and pretend like I'm your chauffeur. Windows down, that's that music loud, girl, when we rollin'. Flying out on private, take that jet down to the islands. And mine, show you off in the Lambos out on Collins. I be with them heels on. You ain't been out in like so long. This pop a bottle get so gone. This Jamo I'm sipping is so strong. In the Rolls Royce, the destination is your choice. Make you feel like it's prom night. Cameras flashing like all night. Yeah, my girl, she look alright. So how it feels to be alright. He held you back, I can't believe that you fell for that. Telling me he came up short. Now I gotta make up for it. So used to being lied to, saying that he love her, but he never show it. Always saying that he getting money, getting to the bank, but he never blow it. Somebody who gon' lay the soil, then plant the seed, then help him grow it. Okay, now hop up in that Rover and pretend like I'm your chauffeur. Windows down, that's that music loud, girl, when we rollin'. Flying out on private, take that jet down to the islands. And mine, show you off in the Lambos out on Collins. I be in my head, I gotta get up again. I gotta get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I gotta get up. I gotta get up. I gotta get up again. I gotta get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I gotta get up. Gotta get up, gotta get up Look into my eyes. My heart beats like a drum. You listen to my lies. Love is what you plane and take a boat. I don't really care, just as long as it will get us there. Cause I wanna see what's above, I wanna see what's below. Just tell me where you wanna go. You can name the place, yeah, you can name the time. We can leave it all behind. No stop for rewind. Before we running out of time. I can see us both flying around, chilling in a pool right by the coast. I can see our clothes down on the floor. I can see it all, baby, we should go. Get set, go, take off.
Not because of any other reason, then like that's the deal we found.
I'm our Global Partnerships Manager, and I would like to first welcome everybody to Google and welcome to Pier 57. And since everybody's a New Yorker, show of hands, does everybody remember when this did not look like this? Yeah, it's a big change. I remember, you know, we kind of go all the way to 8th Avenue. I remember looking across the way for several years when this was being built out, and it's such a big project. You're like, is it ever going to get done? And then you have a pandemic and you come back and it's magically done and absolutely beautiful. So I hope you all enjoy the space. I couldn't think of a better space for engagement and inspiration such as this. So let's try to stay focused, not look out at the water. It's a little bit mesmerizing and distracting. So we'll try to liven it up a little bit. But we're super excited to have you here. You know, we do events like this around the world. I'm a little partial, being a New Yorker. We think this is the best space, but generally we try to do these events to educate partners, educate businesses, because we don't make it sometimes very easy to understand us. And so we try to do things like this as part of an overall effort, an education effort to demystify Google a bit and help you better understand how to utilize Google, work with Google, and demystify our solutions and products and get the most out of Google. So we're really excited to have you here. I'm looking around and I've gone through the attendees and stuff, and we have a huge diversity of businesses that are here today. We have hotels, we have restaurants, we have tour operators, we have attractions. Special shout out to our industry association and some of our partners we've been working with for a long time to enable our various experiences on Google, who helped us do this event and get the invites out and get the word out. So special shout out to them. I'm trying to find some commonality, and it's pretty straightforward when you think about all the diversity that's in the room. So everybody in the room your mission is to create these unparalleled experiences for customers when they come to your businesses. Every day you have people coming into your businesses and you're trying to create moments that matter and memories. And then I think about the Google side of it is we have millions of consumers come into Google every single day, and they're looking for us to answer questions on where to go, where to eat, what to do, and it's sometimes to get inspired. And it's our job to help answer the questions and at the same time help educate them on the partnerships and the various restaurants and merchants and everybody that we work with, and help you get the most out of Google. And so we're really excited for today. We have many product managers who work on the wonderful experiences that we build here at Google, here to help with this education. We have some breakout sessions throughout the day. We have a panel discussion as well. And so we're going to go as deep as we can in the limited time we can. And then generally, getting together, it's an opportunity for all of us to engage and connect and get to know each other. A lot of our innovation at Google comes out of feedback from our partners and feedback from businesses who are living this every day. So the more that you can share, it's fantastic. So don't be shy. Please speak up as we go through things. If we're having a hallway conversation with somebody, say, I like this. Do you guys ever think about this? I don't like this. All that helps inform, what we build. And so we have, a lot of folks that are building these experiences here today. So please take advantage of it, hold us accountable, ask a bunch of questions, and get the most out of it. And so without further ado, let's get things kicked off. And first, we're going to welcome Mark Spates to the stage, who's our product director of partners and content, to kickstart this day, a day of connection, engagement, and growth. So let's welcome Mark to the stage.
Good morning, good afternoon, I guess, actually. Thank you so much for coming. I'm super excited to walk you through a few things today. We have some new features that we're going to release, but first I just want to start with a little bit about me. So like you all, my family has been running businesses since I was like knee-high. From cafes to balloon shops. Yes, my family actually owned a balloon shop in Detroit, to home health services. And each of those businesses, anytime I go speak to my aunts, my uncles, and my mom and my dad, it's very clear. They're like, I just don't have enough time in a day. They're like, I'm running a business. How do you expect me to know what's happening with the competition? How do you expect me actually start to market myself in an authentic way? Because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to drive revenue. And from a very young age, I always wanted to solve this problem. And I had a chance to come to Google. And when I came to Google, one of the first things I started to look for were teams who were really invested in this problem. And what's great is I found it. And for me, I want to make sure that we do three things for you. One, we want to make sure that you actually are able to engage and connect with your customers. And once you connect with them, we want to make sure that you speak to them in a very authentic way. Because at the end of the day, the key is that you drive more revenue. So with that, I'll go to the next slide and talk about what we've learned as Google, how people are actually engaging and looking for your businesses. So let's just start. When people are looking online for a service, 70% of those start with a search. So you think about that, the reach that you'll have the ability to even engage with these customers. Next, it's amazing to me, as your businesses evolve, as your services evolve, our searches evolve. Every single day, 15% of the searches we see, we've never seen before. So you start to see that the consumer actual behavior is starting to show up in their digital behavior. Next, the actual search types really speak to businesses. We all know this one, the near me search. Coffee near me, pizza near me, right? Museums near me. This is one of the key ways people start to intent that they're looking for a business that's local to where they are. But it's not just the near me that's interesting. Actually, we've seen a huge growth in open near me. So I want to find the restaurants near me, and actually, is it even open? And these type of searches are starting to get to the heart of where we think we can partner together to ensure that the customer gets exactly what they're looking for. They also are looking for businesses that are authentically aligned with them. Here's one of my favorite stats, like it's Google, like I see a lot of random stats. But if you look at the number of dog-friendly restaurant searches, it's actually grown 100% year over year. And that's actually aligning when you start to see what's happening culturally as well. So making sure that your business is actually being showcased in an authentic way is super important. Here's the next one. It's staggering how the shift in behavior from, I'm a New Yorker, I go to bodega, they only take cash. But like, the crazy thing is, you see how users are saying, actually, I think most times, I assume I can book. I can make a reservation online. I assume that I actually can contact this business online. And again, this is where Google wants to partner with you all to help make sure the customer gets what they need. So I started with this insight that I was able to have when I was very young. And actually, this has become our vision. And it's very simple. We want to make it super easy for you to connect, engage, and actually grow your business with Google. But I think there's a key piece here. When I talked to my family, it was about time. And so what I've asked the team to do is we got to build features. We got to build tools that are like very limited in the effort that you all have to put in. It should be a few minutes, and you should see a huge, huge return on that investment of those few minutes. The next thing, it should be no cost, right? You have enough costs, you're running your business. We need to do it in a way that it's no cost to you all. And I'm really excited from some of the features that I'm going to walk through, because this is the core and the DNA of the things that we want to build for you. So I'll start with the Google Business Profile. You've all seen these things. When you go out and let's say you type in like Scar's Pizza, right? It's going to show you a link to the website. It's going to show you the phone number. It may show you the address, right? It may have a link to a map. This is where you go to claim your business. And so that's just step number one. But once you claim the business, the question is like, how do you use this profile so that you actually stand out to all these customers when they're looking for you? And what we know is that each of your businesses are extremely unique. A hotel is very different from an attraction, which is very, very different from a hotel. So what we want to do is make sure we build features that are specific to each of the type of the businesses that you're actually running. So I'm going to walk through 3 features that we're actually going to be launching here. And actually, we're going to have Sanjay, who's going to be a little bit later in the day, walk you through full Google Business Profile, what it is, exactly how you use it. But here's a few new features for each of you. So first, for restaurants, when you look at the data, what's really clear to us is that menus are extremely, extremely important. Like, users want to know, what's the latest dish you have? What's the latest drinks you have? Do you have something seasonal? So making sure you have the latest menu is really important. So we built a feature. What this feature allows us to do is you simply upload your menu and we extract that. And we actually create a structured menu right on Google. So when a user types in your restaurant, they get the latest and greatest menu, and all you had to do was click an upload button. So it's making it super easy to ensure that the freshest content for your restaurant is there. Next, we'll talk about tour operators. I've traveled a ton, and also my family comes to New York, so I end up booking more tickets to the Empire State Building than I probably should. But what's cool is we know it's seasonal. And so having the ability to actually dynamically change your prices when you need to, specifically with this new feature that allows you to create and manage your ticket listings, we know this is critical because there's an ebb and flow of people in town, out of town, and when things are really popular. So now you can have the latest actually prices for all of your attractions on Google immediately, which also allows them quickly to book it if they like as well. And last, let's talk about hotels. This is the #1 feature since I've joined the team, way before I joined the team, that hotels have been asking for. It's price comparison. Help me understand what's happening around me and what is the competition doing. So there's 2 key insights that you're going to get from this feature. The first is you're going to be able to see what other hotels are customers booking around you, right? That's really important. Is there something unique happening with hotel number 1, 2, 3 down the street? You'll be able to see that type of insight. Next, actually, you'll be able to see the type of prices that are being offered. So what's really cool here, the average price comparison, you'll be able to see how are you comparing to all those around you, and then you can adjust as needed. So this type of insight really helps drive your business and hopefully drives more revenue for you. So as you can see, there's a lot that we have to offer. There's multiple sessions. As Dave said, please make sure that you stick around, hang out, network, ask tons of questions. There's tons of Googlers here. They're all in the Google shirts, so you can find them really easily. But what makes me extremely excited and get up every single day is to help you. Because I feel like the things that I help you all do, it actually helps my family do. So that makes me, my parents go like, so what do you do? And I can go, if you go to Google's business profile and you update this thing, you actually can see what I work on every single day. And hopefully it actually helps you. So I'm really invested in ensuring that all your businesses are super successful. But with that, I want to play a video that actually brings this all together so you can see how it works. And just thank you so much for having me this morning.
we? Doesn't
I'm
matter.
back. And one thing that's clear is I need to change my profile picture after looking at Rev's. The blue halo just doesn't really resonate, doesn't really connect. So thanks for the inspiration.
That was shot on site in New York City. You could just walk right over there and have the same one.
Definitely inspired to do something a little different. So Mark made some great key points. The macro point I was making earlier around kind of partner feedback. Many of those early things you see, and you'll see more in the breakout sessions. Again, partner feedback and feedback from businesses, as you all know well. The labor of love. Sanjay was joking with me a second ago. The labor of love was the price competitiveness for hotels. I mean, that's a feature that hotels kind of use every single day, and it was important for us to figure out how to get that feature into Google. So the feedback is super important that you all provide. And so we've got a great panel today. We're going to dig into the role of digital in terms of helping your businesses grow, and again, demystify some of the things that relates to Google, but also the broader digital marketing landscape. So we have an awesome panel today. So we got Rev from Yay, we've got Amanda from King, and we've got Mitch from Tourpreneur. And so in terms of a little icebreaker, so maybe get down the row, starting with Mitch. Introduce yourself, briefly describe your business a little bit, and then if you don't mind, letting everyone know your favorite marketing channel that you get the most out of.
Great question. So my name is Mitch Bach. I help run an organization called Tourpreneur. We're about 10,000 tour operators around the globe, and we just help them connect, grow, engage. Did I get those right? It's a learning community. And my favorite marketing channel is word of mouth. I think it's sort of an unsung hero because it doesn't often have a digital solution or something to sell, but it is so powerful because we're all about to go home for the holidays and hear about great trips that our family or our friends have taken, and we're going to get inspired by them.
A little harder to track.
Very hard, very on Google, but works together with the services you provide.
Excellent.
Hi everyone, I'm Amanda. I work at King & Partners. We are a full-service creative, brand, and marketing agency. We focus a lot with luxury brands, hospitality, and at the risk of sounding like a suck-up, my favorite marketing channel is probably Google Ads. I started my career in paid search, so have a sweet spot for that.
Can I change my answer? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Google Things to Do is my favorite.
Excellent.
There we go.
Excellent.
Hi everybody, my name is Rev Ciancio. I own a hamburger shop. That's where that picture was taken near Bryant Park called Handcraft Burgers and Brew. My day job, I help restaurants with done-for-you marketing services. I also put out a children's activity book 3 weeks ago, and if you ask my mom what I do, she would probably tell you I put pictures of pizza on the internet. She's not entirely wrong. My favorite marketing channel is email. I think from a guest retention perspective is the fastest, easiest, most scalable way to stay top of mind with your guests.
Excellent. Excellent. So we had a bunch of questions to go through, so let's jump in. I'm going to think about this as a funnel a little bit. So let's start upper funnel a little bit. How do you all think about generating awareness? I always give analogies to the offline kind of grocery store of shelf space, like being on the shelf. So how do you think about getting your brands and your businesses out there to generate awareness to customers and consumers that are looking for you? And then which platforms are most effective for that? Maybe start with Rev.
I would say about 60 to 70% of our awareness and acquisition, and actually probably for my clients as well, honestly, is search. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in this building. We've done the research to figure that out. And so for us, local search optimization is super important. It's also super easy, which is why I don't know why more people don't do it. But honest to God, I mean, we're in Bryant Park, so it's tourism based a little bit there. So discovery is super important because we get people who are literally going to be one-timers. They're like, I'm in the area, I want a burger. So for us, awareness, a lot of it comes from digital, organic search channels.
Excellent. Amanda?
Yeah, definitely agree. A lot of it does come from organic, but I think with some of the clients that I work with being in the luxury space, kind of getting that out in front of the right audience is super important. I've found more recently, more than ever, that video is a great way to create some awareness. It can tell a really quick story in 15 seconds, stop people from scrolling with how much content that there is to consume these days. So we really are leaning into video to try to attract some new customers.
So quick question, quick follow on to the video piece. What platforms are most effective for you and your clients?
We're using social, CTV, YouTube is great, kind of all of it.
Excellent.
For the tour operator, I want to kind of make a distinction between two very different types of experience creators. One is the in-destination walking tour, food tour, cultural hiking tour operator. That's usually an awareness funnel that is based on Google Ads or sometimes the aggregators, things to do, or simply searches in destination. But there's also the multi-day tour operator, the multi-day journey. You're actually creating awareness and demand through the experience itself. Maybe you weren't thinking about going to a destination, but I'm going to because this community of people, this group of people, or this company is going to hike Kilimanjaro or whatever it is. And their awareness is really about video, inspiration, and also community connection with a group of people that is your audience. So knowing your customers, so important.
So making our way down the funnel a little bit. So as you drive awareness, as you're on the shelf, if you will, as folks are finding you, how do you think about digital as it relates to bringing them down the funnel in terms of action? So whether it's a restaurant and reservations or takeout, or a hotel with a booking, or a tour operator with a tour, how do you think about getting them down the funnel beyond just the awareness piece and using digital to actually get them to transact in action? Mitch, you want to take that first?
Yeah, I think it's just consistency in communication and your brand identity. You are meeting your customer when they're booking a tour across so many different touch points. It might be an Instagram reel, and then it might be a business profile visit, it might be a website. And all along the way, you need to create, first of all, a connection through the content you're creating, which means you need a very clear identity if you're going to try to make that direct sale. But then also, I think, there's so much trail off when you've got 39 tabs open with 39 different tour offerings. And so if you're the one that's responding a day later than all of your competition, if you're not responding with that brand story the entire time, then you're losing customers all the time.
Amanda?
Yeah, so I think that understanding where in the funnel they are and how you reach them is super important. So something we really pay close attention to is making sure that how we're speaking to the customer with creative is different with their first touch point at the brand versus their fourth or fifth. So really working them down the funnel, giving some more informational content at the beginning, enticing them maybe for a hotel client with some really great photos of the rooms or amenities, and kind of continue to persuade them closer and closer to the point of conversion, and speaking to them really clearly with strong CTAs and making sure that they have all the information that they need to make that investment.
So we're going to do a quick follow-on in a minute around the content piece. I want to follow up on that. I'm going to come back to Mitch real quick on the, you talked about potentially losing a customer along the way. And if you look at the purchase cycle, again, obviously depends on the category that we're talking about here, but generally folks are going across like multiple sessions, multiple days, a bunch of different platforms along the way. And the way I think about that, the beauty of it is you can win a customer at any time. The hard part is you can lose a customer at any time. You could have someone all the way through, and then all of a sudden there's a discovery at the end of something else. So how do you think about staying relevant throughout that process? So if somebody's has a predisposition through what you've done along the way to convert them, how do you carry that through to the final action? Yeah, I think to start, you need to make sure that you're meeting the customer where they're at. That means on the back end, your tech stack needs to have an omniscient awareness of the different ways you're interacting with them. They might come in through a certain inbox. You might continue to market through them with retargeting through email, whatever your customer journey is. But if you don't see that holistically, if you've got tabs open and DMs open and you're not seeing that customer holistically, then you're not watching them continue along that journey. Because you're absolutely right in terms of content. You're delivering a variety of different content at all times. And it's funny. It used to really be a funnel, but now it's you know what I mean. It's now it's happening all the time. So you're getting inspired by one hotel at the same time that you're looking at room types of another hotel, and the journey is very mixed. And so you need to make sure you're delivering content across multiple channels and multiple different stages of that funnel at all times. Now it's hard. So one last follow-on, we'll go to Rev. Mark was kind of mentioned it earlier with his family owning a bunch of small businesses and how hard it is, right? So how do you address that from like a staffing perspective? If you got to execute, you got to run, tour operators need to run tours. Like, who's looking after the the follow-on to that, so you don't lose somebody? If somebody, you talking about meeting the customer where they are. If somebody's meeting them there, and you've got good presence, and then they go somewhere else, but you don't have the presence there. How do you think about that in order to kind of stay relevant across all the different platforms in a people challenge business that they don't have people, hundreds of people every day optimizing?
I think it's really about picking the channel based on you knowing your customer. It's really easy to feel like, oh, now I have to be on TikTok because everybody's talking about TikTok. But if that's not your customer, then don't meet them there, because if you are going to show up in a channel, you need to show up for real. You can't show up with a post every 2 months or whatever. Make it clear that this is where you live, and make sure that where you live is where your customer lives, because it's really easy to get distracted by what we call shiny object syndrome and think I need to suddenly invest all of my attention and energy. And when you're that solopreneur, most of our community is small to medium-sized businesses, you get sort of trapped in this mode where you don't have the energy and the time to actually do the things to get yourself out of that spin cycle of losing customers, because you're trying to answer the inbox and at the same time probably lead the tour. Like so many operators are leading tours right now in December. And so I think investing first of all on that technology level to make sure that you can understand your customer and then make the intelligent choices for marketing and for communications and for staffing to get somebody on board. And now the tools out there are extraordinarily easy for you to create, for you to hire either virtually or somebody to be answering that. And with AI chatbots, it's a whole new level of customer service that you can virtually show up for your customer at.
Excellent. Rev, what's your take on lower funnel?
This is both an easy and difficult panel to be a part of, because you guys are both smart, and I just want to say ditto. But I also want to be challenged to say something else. I think the connective piece between both of what you said really is the technology. Like, there are tools out there that are priced at an independent operator level that make managing these things easy, and to be afraid of them is the wrong thought. I'm guessing if you're in this room, that's not you, but really it's like, where are your customers coming from? Where do they want to touch point you? What's the easiest way to manage it? And if you're confused about how to figure that process out, go be a consumer for 10 minutes. Go order from another restaurant, go book a hotel, go book a tour, and find out what you did or didn't like, and then make sure that your business does it the right way.
Yeah, it's funny, for years now, we've tried to, especially I've been working on the travel side for many years, is we would go to hotels and just spend a lot of time at hotels asking questions and kind of living it a little bit, because you can kind of sit back and think but until you actually see it in person, it's hard to get a true perspective on how things actually operate and how you can help facilitate that and make that a little easier.
Yeah, like I've had an order go wrong at a restaurant, and I have seen how frustrated I got in trying to reconcile the refund. I was like, we can't have that at our restaurant. My clients cannot have that. We have to have a channel where it's easy to reconcile, so the guest isn't angry about the process. They're like, hey, they took good care of me. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think there's something really profound, first of all, in going and being a customer. And the second thing that I am often repeating to our community is you, the business owner, are not your customer. The way you see things and the way you see your product, the way you see your booking journey is not how your customer is. And you have your own preferences on how you like to research and book things. You love phone calls, or you might see a certain aspect of your business according to your own psychology. You've got to have that data and go out there and understand from your customer's point of view. You are not your customer.
Excellent. Amanda, let's go back to the content. So you were talking about content a little bit. So, let's say UGC, photos, reviews, et cetera. How do you think about the utilization of that content in terms of where somebody is in that process? And then I think you were also touching on also by platform. So, I'm guessing you're saying a little bit, you can't take one photo and just put it everywhere. It needs to be specific to what that platform is.
Yeah, exactly. It's really important to reach the right customer, not only at the right time, but with the right message. So kind of a copy and paste approach isn't really going to fly. A huge trend that we see in marketing across the board, whether it's hospitality, travel, retail, is people more than ever want really, really personalized experiences. So they don't want to think that I'm getting the same ads as everybody else, even if they are. There's ways to make it feel really special and really personalized. So again, if it's someone's first interaction with the brand, keep it really fun, upbeat, have some, reviews, some quotes, some highlights, show the best parts of your brand. Bring them back in a little bit later with something that might feel more like a sneak peek or behind the scenes. And then if it's someone that is a customer and you want to retain them, because retention is just as important, find a special thing about their stay or their order or their trip that they took and remind them of why they liked it so much to keep them coming back for more. So
again, my hospitality bias a little bit. I know the challenges, and you're talking about personalization a little bit, the challenges of tech and CRMs in order to get a little more personalized. What's your take on, yeah, in a perfect world, we could give them exactly what we think they need or are looking for. Is tech an enabler, or is does it inhibit the ability to get after them just due to the challenges in the tech space?
Yeah, so there's definitely challenges. As much as it would be nice to say, hey, we can target this person with exactly the trip and the room that they stayed in to remind them of why it was so great, there are privacy restrictions. We don't have all of the data. But I think kind of just using groups and say, oh, this person stayed with us and they visited the spa. We can create a list like that and say, hey, here's a treatment that you didn't try that maybe you could come back and do next time. Or here's a rebrand that we worked on that we think you might want to come check out in real life. So as much as personalization can be in the world of privacy, I think is finding the right balance.
And Rev, from a restaurant perspective, so again, I was making fun of my photo, but like that brings the food to life. So how do you think about the utilization of photos in the restaurant space or beyond in terms of inspiring, getting people to drive awareness, and then kind of getting them to understand what the opportunity might be?
Sure. Right. Well, I'm bad at math, but I'm guessing that 98% of all people eat with their eyes before their mouth. So they want to see what your food looks like. They want to know what the experience looks like, and that's what content really should do. Is at the awareness and the acquisition stage, confirm whatever it was they were hoping to get. So if I search for best hot wings near me, I want to see pictures of hot wings that make me go, damn, I'm hungry. Or I want those wings. So I think it's from a again, we're speaking the funnel thing, great content confirms what it was I was trying to figure out. Because oftentimes the customer journey starts outside of our control. Somebody else told me about a restaurant, or I read an article, or I walked by it, and it's like the business doesn't necessarily have control of that moment. It's the minute you have their attention, and can you open up a few valves that funnel it to you, but it's once you have their attention, that's what you do. And I think that's where the quality of the content makes the most important. And then one other piece that's super important. I think a lot of small businesses make the mistake of thinking that posting to social media is an acquisition and awareness channel. It 1 billion% is not. It is not. Because what do we call followers in the restaurant business? Those are guests. They've already had an experience with you, which makes your social media a retention channel. So when you put content on social media, you have to think, these people already know who I am. What do they want to see from me now? If you want to use social media as an acquisition or awareness channel, those are called ads. Those have to look different than retention content.
So I guess in a similar way, reviews. So are you kind of responding to like all reviews, the good, bad, indifferent, just to ensure you're having that conversation?
So the answer to that question is yes, but reviews to me are both acquisition and retention. Because the better my reviews are, the higher I go in search. So that's acquisition. But I always say this, if a guest came into your business and said, I had a terrible time, or the glass was chipped, or my operator was a jerk, or my bed was dirty, would you stare them blankly in the face and say nothing? No, you would win them back. You'd be like, hey, I'm sorry, here's a gift, here's your money back, here's a refund, da da da. Well, why wouldn't you do the same thing online? It's just a digital version of the same thing. By the same token, if a guest walked into your business and said, that was amazing, would you just go, no, you would be like, that's awesome, high five, come back, here's a coupon for the next one. You should do the same thing to a 5-star review, and you should do it to every guest, because that's called hospitality.
Yeah, this is great, because I feel like, I mentioned the diversity in the room, which I think is great. We often, in our respective industries, tend to talk to each other, which is fine. You learn best practices within the industry, but I think getting the cross-pollination of different industries is helping. So on the tour side of things, how do tour operators bring tours to life? Is it photos? Is it video? How do you get it out there so people really understand, it's awesome to take a tour of the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah, I mean, what does a tour add? It maybe adds the ease of getting to the Statue of Liberty. Let's take that example, sure. But it's bringing a community of people together, maybe just for 3 hours, maybe for 3 weeks, with a guide who is a personality. It's a person, it's a storyteller, it's an engager, which means it's just human all the way down. It is the most human and annoying segment of the travel kind of marketing landscape, I think, because it's so out of control, it's so heterogeneous, and that's the power of it. And so I'm looking out the room here now. I see Michael, I see Adam. They both run walking tour businesses here in New York City, and when I go onto their Instagrams or their Facebook pages or their business profiles, I know both of them post every single day or week photos of their guests having a great time. That's UGC right there. How do you personalize beyond that? Well, if you're building an email list, you don't need to suddenly create an AI chatbot and have expensive memberships to CRMs that are doing hyper-targeting. You could just segment your list according to where they're from and wish them a happy holiday for their respective country. Just get started on this ladder of personalization, but remember that along the entire journey, it's about human connection, and anything digital, anything tech that takes away from your ability to create those human connections is a distraction and not an enablement. It might make your life easier, but if it's not making a connection with your customer, then it's not doing you any business. And I think about this in terms of sometimes our efforts or desires to completely automate the booking journey to the point where we never have an interaction with the customer, but sometimes it's actually that personal email that makes that customer say, you know, I like you, I like the tone of your voice, I like how you've connected with me, I'm going to book with you. So don't go overboard with tech at the expense of that human connection.
So do any of you utilize, I think you might have been mentioning it earlier, or Amanda might have been mentioning it, kind of chat features to communicate, you know, not only as a, oh, I had a great experience, or I have a question about this tour, but also like as a booking channel, whether it be real-time chat with a live person or AI-generated tools? Are any of you all utilizing that to communicate?
We have a phone tree. So somebody calls us and it says, oh, did you want the menu? We'll text it to you. That's probably about as sophisticated as we get. We do have like the Google chat function turned on, and then we have a guest feedback tool. But like in terms of like chat, you can text us and we'll reply, but
yeah,
we don't have like a chat bot or anything like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like certain markets, that's the default, and they're either it's AI generated in some cases, or it's kind of real-time chat with a live person, and they're going back and forth.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's. I can say as a guest, like when I DM an Instagram account to a restaurant and I get their automated message, I'm like, that sucked. We'll never turn that on. And I get what they're trying to do, but like, it's a terrible experience. And so like, I don't want to do that to people. And again, to Mitch's point, my opinion is not everybody's opinion, but like, I just think it feels icky. So if somebody legitimately asks a question, I want to legitimately give them an answer. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think it's about knowing your customer, and also it looks very different globally depending on where you are in the landscape. There's certain regions that are really, really invested in booking entirely through chatbots and everything through super apps. And so customer behavior around the world looks very different. I think for tours and activities, this is the next frontier. Big players like Viator and Get Your Guide, and then also a lot of new SaaS startups are trying to solve for the way to bring this omni-channel communication together with booking to sort of collapse the customer journey into a single seamless flow. But it's a huge challenge, and nobody's there yet.
So we all kind of touched on it a little bit. Let's go a little bit deeper. So you drove awareness, you got them in the funnel, you converted them, and then they come in and they have a good experience. In your respective industries, how do you think about converting those customers to loyalists? Because I think generally there's this, especially in the travel business, there's the big picture, the bigger loyalty programs, which are more transactional versus generating like real loyalty. So how do you think about bringing them back and having an ongoing discussion with them to keep them excited about your brand or your location or your business? This is something that I am a broken record about. Your experience needs to not meet their expectations. 5 stars tells you nothing except that you're doing your job. The real proof of the pudding is them going home and raving about you. And to do that, you need to create a level of psychological fulfillment that exceeds just a good experience. And
we all know this. I mean, we all in all of our industries now know this. I call it a wow moment. You need something that they're going to go home and say, I never saw that coming. That's absolutely incredible. And psychologically, I mean, it's Daniel Kahneman's peak moment, right? You can think about it. There's a great book called The Power of Moments that I really, really love, which is just about customer service in general. But they use an example of a motel in Los Angeles that was average, and they brought in a consultant to think about renovating it, and their idea was, how do we really wow our guests? And you could have spent $100 million completely revamping the whole thing to the highest levels of standards, but instead what they did was they hired a man who was like an actor dressed up in a bad tuxedo, and they had red phones placed all around the hotel, and if you picked up that phone, the other end of it was somebody that would deliver you a popsicle wherever you were, at the pool, in the lobby, and whatever. And so it became known as the place where you got a surprise popsicle when you were hot and out at the pool for free. And so for almost no cost, you would go home and on your review or to your friends and family say, man, we thought we were just booking a budget motel, but we got popsicles wherever we were. And it was an incredible way to connect with your audience on that psychological level of delivering a wow moment, rather than pumping all this money into marketing and everything else.
In the 10th day, it's alcohol-infused popsicle?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amanda?
Yeah, I really agree. I think that creating an experience that people are excited about, that people feel great about, is step one. Step two is, when your customer leaves your property or your restaurant or your tour, it shouldn't be the last time you speak to them. You should follow up and say, hey, we had a great time. Hope you did too. Again, speaking back to personalization, if they stayed at your property and they visited a restaurant, tell them about another restaurant that they didn't come to on your property that they might want to see next time. Tell them about a service that they got at the spa that is changing. Really just continue to have those touch points with them and bring it back to their stay, their experience, and make them feel like you saw them, you heard them, you enjoyed them, and you'd love to have them back.
Rev?
Yeah, what you guys said. If the experience sucks, there's nothing that marketing can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if the experience is awesome, the next step is always getting every single customer's feedback. Like, find a way to get feedback on every single visit, capture their email, and then send emails at a regular cadence. Your job at that point, at least from a restaurant's perspective, is to stay in the awareness set.
Awesome. So with some of our breakout sessions, obviously we'll get into some of the details and kind of baseline, as well as some of the enhancements within Google Business Profile. But you are pretty savvy. Like, thoughts on utilization of like best practices with GBP in terms of improving your chances to increase your awareness on Google to get you more traffic and more customers coming your way. You want to start us off, Mitch?
Build it out, fill it up. It's like a house, so put furniture in it. Photos, reviews.
Can we use that? Furniture? Can we use the furniture analogy? I like it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The business profile has become your business card online. If it's not showing up there, and I'm sure you have data on this, when I don't see that show up for a company I search for example, it feels empty. I feel like I'm missing it, and I feel like maybe they don't actually exist as much as I thought they existed with just a good website. So not only is it real estate that's yours for the taking, but now in my domain, you have the things to do ticket editor. Every single small tour operator here should be loading your tours on your business profile, because now it's a booking journey all in one. Photos, inspiration, which means you should be loading photos, not only UGC, but inspirational photos, photos of guests on tour, photos that show the sort of wider angled lens of your experience company. The reviews bring you down the funnel, and then the booking journey happens right there. So it's a funnel in one, right on the side of every search page, on maps now, through ads, and so it is a growing secret weapon that every tour operator should be using.
Awesome. Thank you. Amanda?
Yeah, I agree with you, Mitch. If I don't see it pop up, I'm like, is this real? I feel a little weird about it. So definitely making sure that you're using it, you're keeping it updated, the information matches what's on your site, what's on your social, making sure it's really cohesive and easy to keep up with. Responding to reviews, good and bad, like you talked about, and just really making sure that it is something that you keep fresh as much as your other channels.
Part of your hygiene, yeah.
Anything to add on that, Rev?
Yeah, so everything you guys said, but then 4 very, very specific things. Number 1, not just update photos, but do it monthly. Basically, you want to confirm to Google that you are actively managing the page. That gives confidence that the information is correct, number 1. Number 2, and we saw this earlier, you have to make sure that your menu is on here that optimizes you for menu or dish search. You need to make sure that your hours of operation are always correct, even on holidays, even if they're the same as every other day. You need to confirm your holiday menus. And the last one is if you're a restaurant, you need to go in and set your preferred ordering link. So you tell the guest who's looking to place an order, no, not Grubhub, no, not DoorDash, order from this one.
Awesome. I'm going to ignore the fact that the clock expired.
I was trying to get to the 0.
Yeah, I don't care. I've got one more question. So since we have our product and engineer folks here that are building these wonderful experiences, thoughts on one thing you would like to see that would help you with your customers and your businesses?
Reb, do you want to start? I feel like you're always number 3.
That's fine. If I could capture guest data contact information at that point, it'd be amazing. I'd like to have their name, email address, phone number before I even know that they've ever had an experience.
Amanda?
Oh, great question. There's a lot. Something that our team talks about a lot is more insights around voice search and how people are coming to us using voice search platforms, Google Home, Alexa, whatever it may be, and kind of getting some more insights on how to optimize around that.
Mm-hmm. In the tour director or tour operator world, I started the panel by talking about the 2 different food groups of the multi-day operator and the day tour operator. I think the day tour operator is very well served by their business profile. I think there's a lot of opportunities for the multi-day operator, people creating journeys that are not exactly tied in the same way to a service location or to a simple single destination. I think there's a huge opportunity to create a journey around the people that create journeys around the world.
Excellent. And so one last plug again for the collective group. Again, the education is not just this episodic thing where you come in for one day and spend a few hours together, you get some best practices, and then you kind of go away. We're trying to build more kind of continuum elements. And so, on the hotel side, we have some stuff coming out, more like a certification type thing that you can go through. And again, back to my earlier point, utilize it probably even if you're not a hotel, because I think there's a lot of best practices in there you can probably garner from going through that process. And Mitch has helped us build something on the tour operators, so the tour side, and things to do and experiences side of things that folks can get as well. So specific to the industry, take advantage of these things that we're going to get in the marketplace, and we'll make it easier for you to find that and just keep that muscle and rigor around it. And I do think learning from other industries rather than always me being in travel for a long time, hotel folks talking to hotel folks is only good for so long. And I think the innovation comes from those talking to other industries. Restaurants are doing this. Maybe we should try this over here. That's a great idea. So let's keep talking kind of collectively and break down our silos a little bit, and we'll continue to do our best to educate. But again, thanks to you all for joining and sharing all your insights. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. Do we get to take a quick selfie or an Ussie?
You're going to go this way?
No, we're going to do both. So this way first. All right, now this way.
Are you going to post it?
Oh, wow.
I'm tagging all of you, so make sure you're present. Get in. There we go. Nice.
Awesome.
And now we're going to make short form video? No.
If it didn't happen on social media, it didn't happen.
Well, that was awesome. I feel like I drew the short straw by following people who are really interesting, have information about their industries. What they don't have is the data I'm about to talk about today. So I'm going to go into some detail on how you actually can do many of the things our panelists were talking about, how you can get photos in place, which ones we recommend, and so on. I will start by saying that Dave complained about his picture. I'm the one on the left, just to be clear. My name's Sanjay. I'm going to talk about, in some detail, where Mark started, about what we've learned at Google and what makes places successful. So we'll start with this, right? This is what Mark started with. We want to make it easy to connect with customers, engage in an authentic manner, and grow your business. At the end of the day, you have to grow your business. I'm going to talk about what we've learned and how you can provide that. It turns out the majority of what users want is actually information that you control, not just in general, but also how it's shown on Google. So before I dive in, at the beginning, when you showed up, everybody got a little notebook. We are going to cover a lot of material. You don't actually have to take notes. You don't have to memorize everything. We've got loads of additional information both online that you can follow up with, and we have a service where you can actually call human coaches, and they will walk you through many of the things I'm talking about here today. And not just stuff that's Google specific, also just generically across the internet, how to make your property shine. Okay, what I want to talk about today is sort of the 5 most important tactics that we've identified to help your business be successful. Most of these focus on the business profile. You've heard that term a lot. We'll talk about that even more. It is the first thing that users see. I loved the description of it being your house, and now you need to fill it with furniture. The house is there. We do a really good job of building the house. We also leave it sort of painfully empty, and so we're going to talk about how you fill it out. In the process of doing that, your business becomes more discoverable, you're able to stand out, and ultimately will help you grow. 5 things. First, you need to be there. You actually need to be on the business profile. And what being there means is not simply having an empty house. We need to know where you are. We need to know phone numbers and so on. We'll talk about that. Number 2, you need to stay relevant, not just build it once and go away, but in fact, worry about what's being shown over and over and over again. Number 3 is to be ready when customers are ready to take action. So we talked a little bit earlier about the fact that you can book tickets online, you can reserve your hotel online, you can reserve your table online. All of these things are capabilities that Google makes available. And users very quickly end up at that point where they want to act on the information they're seeing. Number 4 is be engaged with their customers. We'll talk about reviews again. We'll talk about things that are a little less distasteful to deal with in addition to reviews. And the last thing I want to talk about is insights. Google gathers a lot of data, and we're going to talk today about how we share a bunch of that data back with you. Okay, first off, you need to be on Google so that your business shows up when prospective customers are looking for you. When we talk about the business profile, it is not just what shows up on search, which is what we think of those 10 blue links that you see, but also on maps. All of that information is coming from the same place. You edit in the same place. We publish it to the same places. And to be really clear about this really isn't rocket science, right? If your address and phone number isn't correct, users can't find you. They can't become customers. It is what it is. So I hope that many of you have already done this. The first step is to claim and verify your business. For those of you who've been in the business for a while, we used to send you postcards, and you'd have to return the postcard and take a QR code and da-da-da-da-da. We've added a bunch of additional mechanisms to make it easier. We use email, we use SMS, you can do a video verification. There's a number of ways in which we can make sure that you have access and control over this business profile. The last point I want to make here, for those of you who have already claimed your business profile, please turn on 2-factor authentication. You don't want to end up in a situation where control of that business profile inadvertently goes over to somewhere else. If that's the one thing you take away, I highly recommend you do it today. So, as I said earlier, your business profile is your business's home on Google. This information shows up everywhere. So make it easy for people to find you by making sure your address is correct and so on. I love that Rev pointed out the fact that holiday hours are a big deal. Opening hours are a big deal. I was dealing with an engineer, a very senior engineer at Google, who's been working on making sure this information is correct for almost 15 years. And what he said is, there's a moment where he goes to some place that he's found on Google and it's closed. And he's like, it's like my entire life has been wasted. That business may as well not exist because it's closed. What's amazing to me, this guy is phenomenal, he's very inspirational for me, is that he walks away with that feeling every day to try and make sure that our users and your customers don't have that feeling. So help me out here and try and get that critical information in place. Okay, I'm going to get super tactical. How do you actually do this? On Google search, you can actually search for my business or just look for your business's name, and then you'll see a set of tools that say edit profile. And we see up here, you can directly make changes to your profile. You can respond to reviews, you can respond to messages, you can put in posts and promotions. We'll talk about those a little later. If you like using maps, it turns out there are maps people and there are search people, and they don't really talk to each other. If you like using maps, just tap on your profile picture, or sometimes it's your initials. In there, you can go through and do exactly the same stuff. OK. If you really want to succeed, you need to actually fill out more than that minimum set of contact information. Okay? So there's some numbers up here, which I think are amazing. And this is coming from a worldwide corpus of data that we've been monitoring for quite a while. So what we found is that more complete profiles, such as those that include posts, promotions, photos, holiday hours, are more likely to be visited by users. So these numbers are a couple of data points here. 42% more direction requests for businesses with photos. I think Amanda mentioned that if she doesn't see a photo on there, she's like, does this place really exist? Like, it's got an address and a phone number. Yeah, it turns out that's common. Everybody wants to see a photo to make sure it's really there. We see 7 times more clicks on the stuff you care about when your profile is full. And you've seen this on the consumer side. If you run across a business and it looks like an empty house with broken windows, you're unlikely to go interact with it. Finally, business hours. If you're not open, you don't exist. 96% of customers say they're more likely to visit a business that shows its open hours. That one sort of blows my mind. Like, that just feels like milk in the store. OK, so what we've covered so far is the basics for users to effectively find you. In this next bit, I'm going to talk about showcasing what makes your business unique, especially as user searches get even more specific. So they're not just looking for food near me. They're looking for mulligatawny soup around the corner, right? So this is going to get a little tricky because we've got a bunch of different businesses here, business types here. I'm going to go through some examples. I'm going to ask you to extrapolate to your business as best you can. If we go down into every business, we'll be for hours, and that's why we have the breakout sessions afterwards to go talk about it. OK. So step 1, you want to stand out on Google. How do you stand out? You highlight what makes you special. You highlight what makes you unique. You highlight what you offer that customers, and you probably know who they are and what they want, what they're looking for, so that new customers can ask for the same information and see the same information show up. OK, what does that mean? You want to make sure that Google knows what makes your business special so that we can tell people who are searching what makes your business special so they can come to you. Like, we are sort of in between you and the customer in many situations. The more you tell us, the more we can pass on forward. So this is helpful both for customers who already know the name of your business, if you're searching for your business, because they will want to confirm that whatever they were excited about, you're going to fulfill. It's even more important for new customers who don't know the name of your business, who are looking for that mulligatawny soup, to have that show up and have your restaurant become part of the consideration set that they're then looking at. The bottom line is that if we don't know about it, we can't surface it. Free Wi-Fi, free parking, all of these things will change people's behaviors, but if we don't know that they're happening, we can't show it to folks. My favorite example here is, and this may be telling on myself, we rolled out something that looked at individual dishes, and suddenly I was able to search out like cocktails and places that were specializing in cocktails, and I could find the best caipirinha in Boston, which wasn't great, but was the best caipirinha in Boston. So we'll try and fix that here in New York. So for restaurants, Rev talked about this a little bit. The food you serve is what makes you special. What we know you do is spend a lot of time creating, maintaining, updating those menus, making sure that you get them out there. What we're going to be talking about at the breakout session this afternoon is you can point Google at that information, and we will parse it, and we'll make it available within our systems so that individual menu items can now show up as part of user searches. OK. Simply listing out what you have, which is what I've talked about so far, is a start. It is far more compelling for you who you are as a business, what your values are, what you care about, what you prioritize. So please, please, please don't use stock photography here. Everybody has a phone now that has an unbelievably good camera. Get out there, take some amazing pictures, and get them up on your site. The reason I keep talking about photos, and I think you've probably heard the word photos more than anything else, is because Google itself is becoming more visually forward in how we're representing businesses and our own results. Photos and videos end up being a really great way to tell the story of the businesses that we're hoping to highlight. Our users respond to them. And for many companies, imagery really matters. Like, if you run a hotel, people want to see pictures of the rooms. They want to see pictures of the pools. They want to see pictures of amenities. You know, if you're running a restaurant, I think Rev talked about this. Everybody wants, like, you eat with your eyes before you eat with your mouth. They want to see pictures of the food before you go any further. Now look, if you're running like an insurance company, and hopefully I'm not insulting anybody, right? But like, the pictures probably aren't as exciting. Like, you know, umbrella policies are not as exciting to see visually as they are in any other form. But even then, taking a picture of the front of your building so people can find you, right? Taking a picture of your logo so they know that they've showed up at the right place. These small confirmation mechanisms that people have so they know in the right place is really, really valuable. So let's get concrete in terms of the benefits of photos, right? So if you have photos, you get 35% more clicks. Well, you see 42% more requests for directions. Percent of people are more likely to visit you if you have photos. Like these numbers are wacky. There's very little out there that has this big of an influence on what's going on. So what I want you to take away from this is that regardless of what business you're in, accurate offerings, accurate attributes, and the photos to back those things are critical to being successful. As you think about your business and what you offer, what can you highlight that you anticipate your potential customers are going to want? Look, you know your business better than we do. We're not going to tell you what to put up. We will tell you what we see people responding to so that you can incorporate that into your thinking and how you view your own profile. Okay, be ready when customers are looking to take an action. So you've gone through all this work, you've built a great profile, people are looking at it, now they want to do the thing. And the thing that they want to do is different across different business types. I'm not going to go through listing them all, but part of what we're trying to do here is to allow people to take that action online, to start the transaction they're going to have with you online. And in some cases, it's not about actually the transaction, but the availability of it. So in this case, what we're looking at is, you know, the fact that you can book your haircut appointment directly on Google, and just the availability being there and shown to the user is incredibly important. For hotels, we built something out called free booking links. As long as we know the availability and prices of your room, you can come and tell us that information, and we will put it up. It turns out that there's a group of users who are out there, a group of customers who are out there who just really want to book direct. They don't want to go to the big OTAs. They don't want to go to TripAdvisor and click a lot of buttons. They're like, I want to go directly to a hotel. And they have this belief, I have this belief because I'm one of these people, that they'll get better service. Like, you know their name, you know that I'm showing up. Free booking links allows you to do that. And if you are the owner of that hotel, you'll actually get a little badge that says official site. Users are really responsive to this. I'm going to come back to Rev for a moment because he said 98% of people want to eat the picture they see. Turns out it's only 82%, right? But it's pretty good. Yeah, I believe you. I believe you more than I trust my numbers, so I'll totally dig it. So we discovered about 82% of people will consider buying a dish simply because of how good it looks in the photo. How nuts is that, right? So if you're a restaurant owner, pay attention to how this menu is shown, right? So this is not just like a blob of text on the page, right? What we have on here is we have menu highlights at the top. We have things that we know that users are looking at and clicking in to look at. We have individual dish photos. This is something you as a restaurant owner have the opportunity to send up to us. We have the menu item name, the description, the price. I have people in my family who have dietary restrictions, so whether you're vegetarian or vegan, we can identify menu items that have that ability. And then I love the spiciness attribute. I married into an Irish family, and so we have like it's like a logarithmic scale, right? Like they're like, this is the spiciest thing ever, and I'm like, this is dessert. So that's coming soon, but like this is the sort of information that you can get in front of users. It's phenomenal.
Hold on, that begs the question then.
Who's setting the spiciness level?
Yeah, like is it?
That's up to you. You're the one that's going to disappoint your customers, right? And so I don't want to. I don't know how to say this. I do not want to be responsible for setting the spiciness level of food. Like I've already failed with my mother-in-law, and I don't want to fail with the rest of the world. So I would rather you identify it. And it's going to be, the reality is it's going to be restaurant specific, right? There's going to be Indian restaurants where they're like, I'm sorry, we need a scale that goes from 1 to 70 because that's the top end of this. And at the top end is basically fried chilies, right? You just eat them direct. And there's the ice cream shop that's like, well, we walked by the pepper mill when we made this batch. So I think there's a lot of context specificity here. The good news is users get it, right? They like understand this. They're not dummies. So we can play into that. Okay, after they see the beautiful pictures of food, what do they want to do? They want to reserve a table. And so we've got a bunch of partnerships with big and small reservation companies out there to help you just mash a button and get a table. Now, here's one way to think about this. I think of appointments. We saw hair appointments earlier and reserving tables here. I think of them a little bit like open hours. If you can't find a time slot that works for you, that restaurant is effectively closed. It may as well not exist. You may go there later, but for today where you're trying to do something, it may as well not exist. So let's get that in front of people so they can bring you into the consideration or take you out of it efficiently. We talked a little bit about this. I worked for a small time in the tours industry, and users want to know that they can actually buy the thing that Mitch was talking about that's available there. For walking tours, those sort of grow and shrink as necessary. There's other tours that have weights and limits on them. I watch all these helicopters flying around, and you can't fit 17 people into one of those. We're going to talk this afternoon about the ability to showcase, your own tickets getting up on here. And I'll echo Mitch on this. If you're a small tour operator, the work that we're doing here with the ticket editor is absolutely clutch. Like you need to be putting this information in. We're going to talk about it this afternoon in a breakout session. This released very, very recently, but it allows you to put very specific information in there so that users can come to you and follow through with booking, again, directly with you. Okay, be engaged with your customers. It can be really easy to fill in the house, to put the furniture in the house that we talked about earlier, and consider it done. I have 3 kids, so it feels like my house is never done because there's always work to do, but we've also found that users respond to this in your profile as well. So what we're seeing is that users are particularly responsive to seeing new photos. I think someone in the panel earlier mentioned at least once a month you want to let this information be out there. They want to see where hours are updated and verified on a regular basis, where reviews don't have a blank look, they actually get responses to it, where questions are explicitly answered. So engagement is key here. It's a demonstration that you are paying attention to the information that's flowing through on this very, very important surface. So diving in, for better or worse, reviews have become a key mechanism that people pay attention to. I know it isn't always fun to respond to them, especially when they're negative. It is what it is. What we have found consistently is responding in some way that says that you've read the review, you understand what they're talking about, and if it's negative, you're taking some corrective action, is it's a very strong signal for users to know that you're paying attention here, and that they won't get sort of the strong arm if they show up and don't have a great experience. The good news is you can respond directly using the tools that Google has made available. We also provide tools so that you get short links and QR codes so that you can get reviews from more people, ideally people who had a great experience, so you can get those great reviews up on your profile. Something that I found incredibly useful as a consumer, but I find relatively underused, is the ability to answer questions that users are asking. And so users can come and just say, where's the parking nearest your hotel? And that question will be up there. And when you respond to it, it becomes a permanent component of your business profile. This is a really quick way to get common questions answered very efficiently so that people, again, know they get the answers they need to ultimately end up booking. Another, I would say, lesser known corner of your profile is business posts. These are an excellent way to let customers know what's happening now. Events and deals are a class of posts that you can post. Right now, these primarily show up on your business profile, as you can see further down the page. We're also experimenting with putting it in other places. We've discovered that not just in the US, but in many locales, people are very responsive to seeing this information. And so we're trying to figure out where else it can show up across Google. And then finally, I want to talk about the last tactic, which is to look at insights that we can use to drive performance. The goal here is really to make sure that all of this work that you're putting in to building out your business profile is ultimately turning over into incremental revenue, incremental visits, incremental customers for your business. Okay, there's a lot on this slide. Google generates a lot of data. We sometimes like to show a lot of it all at once to you, and this is perhaps one of those examples. So you can see the metrics listed here. We can talk about the number of searches that are happening, number of users that visited your profile. What I think is really cool here is that you can actually look at some of this stuff and look at the exact searches that led people to your profile. And so if they're coming to your profile because they're all searching for shrimp or all for salmon, right? That's a big deal. That says something about how they're finding you and what you might want to highlight on your profile, right? It's an insight into what's going on. For menus, you can actually see an increase. We've actually watched this when restaurants start populating menus and putting in those photos and prices for their dishes. We actually see an increase in engagement with the menus, right? So we know that people are responding to this. And lastly, depending on the industry you're in, you can actually get a measure of the booking value that Google is sending you, which is a really important piece of information going forward. Okay, I'm going to spend like one last minute on this, on price competitiveness, mostly because I'm so excited we finally built it. You're going to hear a lot about this later on when we talk about in the hotel's breakout session. The idea here was really to give some insight into how your hotel is doing relative to the other hotels in the area. And what I want to make clear is that there's nothing here you couldn't do yourself, right? You could go and visit the 5 hotels that you think you compete with, and you could look at how much they're charging. You could put in dates and see how much they're charging. All of this information is available to you. But as Mark alluded to earlier, you don't really have the time to do that. In many cases, we already have that data, and we can identify it, and we can actually say, it seems like you're a little bit more expensive than everybody else for this weekend. What's going on? And it may be that there's a wedding that's booked up half your building, and that's totally fine. But you can act on this very, very specific information really effectively. Okay, this is my last slide, I think. If you're only going to take 5 things away today, actually take 6 away. First, turn on 2-factor authentication. Next, make sure that all, if you're running multiple properties, if you're running multiple elements, make sure all of them are available on Google. Make sure their business hours are correct. Make sure the address is correct. Make sure the phone number is correct. Especially now, make sure your holiday hours are correct. Number 2, be relevant. Put those pictures up. Make sure what you offer is visible to users and is responsive to what they're looking for. Number 3, if you don't have a mechanism to book or to reserve or to whatever the language is in your industry, an appointment or a bed or a table at your venue, go figure out how to do that. Users are really excited about doing this stuff ahead of time. They like to plan out their day, and we see this consistently turning into sort of positive energy for the businesses. Number 3, be engaged. I recommend a nice Chardonnay in your hand, and then just deal with all of the negative reviews in one shot. Write out nice answers to it and move on. And number 5 there is, the information that Google brings in terms of visits to your pages, in terms of visits to this representation of your business on Google, is really valuable. Tap into that. Take a look at it. Sit there and see even little stuff I find fascinating, where you see like weekly trends, you see seasonal trends. You'll be like, yeah, I don't know. You can map it over with like weather, and like if it's really cold out, you're going to get less visits. In some cases, if it's really cold out, you get more visits. Figure out what those patterns are and run with them. I'm going to stop here. I recommend all of you please join the breakout sessions. We've got specialist PMs there that have spent a lot of time worrying about how to build out these features. And Dave was a little bit snarky when he said it, but for real, if there's something that we're not doing that you think would be incredibly valuable, these are the folks that are sort of charged to make it happen. Thanks for your time, and enjoy yourselves. Okay.
truth is so hard to find. With all the things that's going on, I lost track, I felt so strong. I got you on my mind, but something's been done wrong. Sometimes I've been thinking of what to make of me and my memories. Sometimes I've been thinking of dreaming of what it could have been besides memories. 'Cause I still need you.
Hello. My name is Mike Nagy. I am a product manager that works on business profile features for bars and restaurants. Fun story about me, I actually was an SMB. I ran a small business for actually over a decade that was like technology adjacent to the food space before coming to Google. And yeah, before I get into some of the things that we've worked on over the past year, 18 months. Some things are hot off the press that you may have not seen before. I figured that we should go ahead and maybe just watch a quick video from a SMB in the Los Angeles area. It's just like a way to butter y'all up. Here's the video. There we go.
Chulita is a local neighborhood restaurant in Venice, California. We do Mexican, tacos, guacamoles, salsas. What I really wanted was to create a space that I could get to know the people in the neighborhood after moving from the East Coast. Venice is really a place of community. There's so much soul here. I grew up in restaurants, so it was something that was very familiar to me from a young age. I think the hardest thing about running a small business is that you have to do everything all at once. We really use our Google business profile to keep our customers up to date with everything that we're doing. Closures, tastings, menus. It's a one-stop shop for me to update all of my company information very quickly. And I love that they can make reservations on there as well. And I think that that's something that's helped us.
Venice offers so much variety of food, people, and of course the beach. Chulita provides a look that has this vacation vibe.
A great neighborhood restaurant has a good ambiance, and that's created by the people that work there. Chulita definitely embodies that, and amazing food. And I know my fiance is always looking at the Google pictures to see what kind of food she wants to order when we go through.
I think one of the reasons I love restaurants is I love hospitality. Seeing the reviews really helps us connect with our community in Venice. People coming in and wanting to connect and wanting to tell other people around them what they love about us. I've had a lot of customers that come in and say, we Googled best Mexican food in Venice and you popped up. It's amazing.
So kind of my charter in the team that I work on has a bit of a dual mandate. We want to help users find food, fill bellies, help people find great food, and also help our businesses and business-friendly partners thrive. So I imagine there are several small businesses here. How many attendees own or operate a business that has 5 or fewer locations? How many operate just one? Nice. All right. Sharing a little bit more data with y'all, like search is becoming pretty nuanced. I was chatting with a gentleman, the lights are blinding, so I can't see him, who was like talking about people like searching for restaurants and like where he ranks. But we're seeing a huge increase in some of these like more nuanced queries. Group-friendly restaurants, we meant dog-friendly restaurants, places that have happy hour, outdoor patio, places that are cater to vegans, vegetarians, different dietary preferences. And as search gets more powerful, this is only going to continue to grow. In order for us to continue, growing and showing the right results, like everyone here has a job, and it'll help you find the best customers for your business. If I'll share a quick story. So when I was in the Houston area, I had this like amazing dish called the Cotty roll, and I live in Austin, Texas. That's like where I'm based. I cannot find Cotty rolls in Austin, and every time I go to a new city, I search for Cotty rolls. And yes, I've been to the Cotty roll company here in New York, but I'm not alone. 40% of users, when they start searching for food, are actually thinking of a dish mindset. So we've kind of evolved from like an Asian restaurant near me to a Thai restaurant near me to like I am literally looking for this type of a curry, and I want a restaurant that has this. So we've introduced a dish search experience that allows people to search for places that have that dish. And we also have an entry point where you can view photos of the dish. So, if you're in the, if you ask Rev, it's like 98%. If you ask Sanjay, it's 82%. If we have a photo of that dish from your business, we would like to trigger it in some of these search experiences. This is going to be a bit of a repeat. And we're going to get a little bit deeper into each of these topics. So I won't say them out loud. You want to be there. You want to stay relevant. You want to be ready. You want to be engaged. And you want to leverage insights. So what does it mean to be there when customers are looking for you? Well, Google has two tremendously successful products. Obviously, we all use Google Search. But chances are many in the room use Google Maps as well. And I myself flip between the two depending on where I'm at. If I'm obviously at a desk, I'm going to be using a desktop browser, and I'm just going to be using Google Search, and I'm going to jump around and start my journey there. But if I'm on the go and trying to find a dry cleaner that's open on Saturdays, that has a 24-hour turnaround, I'm probably going to actually start that journey on Maps because I'm going to need to call, make sure that they can do my dry cleaning. This is obviously a very real story. I'm going to need to call them to validate it, get directions, et cetera, know where to park. So with respect to restaurants, these are a couple different ways. This is not an exhaustive list, but does capture some of the most popular ways that diners start looking for restaurants. If you're looking for, I'm going to use Rev, handcraft burgers and brew, and I know that's where I want to go. I'm going to start that. I probably only need to tap a few characters, and it'll autocomplete, and I'm well on my way to doing what I need to do. But I also might be looking for things near me or in a neighborhood that I know I'm going to be in later in the day or on the weekend or a month from now if I'm planning a vacation. People still do search for cuisines, right? Like I know I want something that is vaguely, this flavor, but I'm not really set on a region or country. So I just want to look at a list. Searching for a dish like a lobster roll. If you know of a good lobster roll in New York, come up to me after whatever the next thing is. Or what's a great place to watch the game? And then I think I was maybe work in this are kind of all blending together, but it's of course you're going to have a bar that's going to be showing the Super Bowl on TVs, but what about some of these more fringe sports? What if you want to watch a cricket tournament or I have a friend that's super into Chelsea and does not want to even step foot into a Tottenham bar. People are looking for that, and they're looking on Google. So Google Business Profile. Does anyone here not know what Google Business Profile is? No hands. How do you get to your Google Business Profile? We're probably all familiar with this. You can do it on both search and maps. You can do a search for your business name. You can just search for my business. And we have several entry points into different features, whether you're trying to update your hours, add photos, menu, etc. We're going to probably spend a bit of time on menus. And then engage with reviews. Does anyone here not respond to reviews? Again, no hands. So your business profile is your identity on Google. So I have two screenshots, and one, to like not pick on the incompleteness, because the screenshot on the left is a business that very recently opened, right? So like, don't tear into them for not having a bunch of data on their profile. But if I'm looking for a pizza restaurant, and I look at this one, and then like, we'll have to use a little bit of imagination, but Rev, who y'all heard on the panel earlier, his restaurant is just like kind of master class in terms of using every single feature like to its limit, and actually he even uses things that weren't intended for that purpose. So relatively creative individual, right? But if I'm looking at the one on the left and the one on the right, like, which one is going to instill more trust in me as a customer? And the point that Rev made about like using the product as a user, whether it was like the Instagram, like chatbot flow, or various things on Business Profile. Like, if you see these like auto-playing videos on Google Business Profile, you should just try uploading videos to your profile. It's kind of like my job and we, a couple other peers here to take the content that you're uploading and use it in the right way and put it in front of the correct set of eyeballs. You also want to spend a good deal of time highlighting the things that you're known for, but not just the things that you're known for, like a complete list of things that you sell. So I mentioned the searching for a vegetarian restaurant. The attributes, there actually is an attribute for is good for watching sports. You probably have a good idea of what we would use that for. And even if you've used the attributes tool, we're always adding new attributes. So I'm not saying like check it like it's your email, but I don't know, maybe once or twice a year, see if we've added a new attribute that applies to your business and might help answer questions, eliminate phone calls, give user the confidence that you have blank, whether it's wheelchair accessible entrance, etc. Parking. I know, like, who here has a business that has a parking lot? No hands. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3. Okay, less than 5. So maybe not the best slide for this audience. With respect to vegetarian menu content, 22% of the global population is vegetarian. People are doing meatless Mondays. And we have an awesome tool to help you tag dishes that you offer as being vegetarian, so that if I'm planning an event and half of my party are vegetarians, I need to be able to find a restaurant that has something for all of us. So unfortunately, Sanjay kind of spoiled it, but those annotations look like this. On mobile search, if you've uploaded a photo of your dish, it outranks those, at least in that view, that have been uploaded by consumers. Like, we know that businesses tend to have very high quality photos of their food. So please add it. And if a dish is vegan or vegetarian, it's just like one click to add that attribute. And you can see this like California tortilla restaurant on the right, like all these photos being able to jump from a dish into the dish photo viewer and take a look at it. It's like it's really awesome. And 98%, 82% people using photos to pick restaurants. So how do you do that, right? Like, I believe we actually silently added the option to upload dish photos inside of our detailed menu editor well over a year ago, but we only started using those to power consumer experiences. And it's like on mobile search. We're going to do it on maps, obviously, and we need to put this in and across like all of our different surfaces. But you can kind of get ahead of the game by adding these dish photos. So build out your menu, sections, items, attributes, and maintain it. Might take a little while. However, as Mark and Sanjay alluded to, if you haven't created a menu on Google, we're trying to make that process easier than ever. So depending on the markup of your web page, we may have actually like crawled the data to see if we can offer you an option to import as a jumping off point. And obviously, the crawling is, it doesn't always apply to every web page, and trust me, y'all have very creative like URLs and page layouts. It's very difficult for machines to understand, but we're getting pretty decent at it, and we're expanding the number of sources. So if we do have a source for your menu, you should be able to see sections, items, prices that we were able to interpret. You can copy it into our menu editor, and then you can make those markups, annotations, add photos, labels, correct prices if they're incorrect, remove things that you no longer sell, et cetera, et cetera. Depending on if you're working with one of our ordering partners or reservation partners where you're already creating menu data on a platform, if that platform has a connection to Google, you might actually see a few different options, and you can set it and forget it. You can literally pick a menu provider and say like, yep, that's the provider. That's like, the thing that I use for my point of sale or whatever, and I'm always updating my menu there. You can pick it, hit save, and every future update will show up on Google. So again, like trying to remove the maintenance of maintaining a menu. If all that seems like hard work, maybe you change your menu every single day and you're like just posting a photo of it on social media. You can also upload a photo of your menu. We had this in Google My Business, and when we moved over to Business Profile, the feature went away. It's back. Within this view, and this wasn't actually so easy in Google My Business, you can also see previously uploaded menu photos and remove them. So if you've got an 8-year-old menu photo and a customer walks in, they're like looking for a hamburger that costs 70% of what your current menu price is, see if you can go in and remove that old menu photo. And these menu photos that are supplied by the business, again, rank first, ahead of blurry photos that users are taking. I really wish that the user contribution stuff for maps, that they were taking perfect menu photos. Really, that's not the case. And you, as a restaurant audience, typically have the original asset, like the Illustrator file or PDF that you can upload into this view, so that it's not a photo of a menu. It's like literally the original artwork. We've also, if you are creating the bespoke detailed menu on Google, and you're like, it's like keeping my prices up to date with whatever inflation is at. It's just like a real chore. So like the prices get up to date. So I just like don't show my prices. As of I believe last week, we introduced a new feature that's like a little bit more like a spreadsheet. It's actually something that the restaurants were asking for, was like, give me something that's more like a spreadsheet so I can quickly update my prices. Well, we've delivered that. And now, of course, it works on search, it works on maps, so you can do it on the go. So if you see an inaccuracy in your menu, you should be able to like update an entire category in a few seconds. In terms of uploading photos and videos, 42% more direction requests, more complete profiles, you get seven times the number of clicks. Businesses that have photos, get more clicks to their website, and 90% of people are more likely to visit you if you have photos of your business. Going back to like, one of the examples of if it's a dimly lit, broken windows, like have a picture of your storefront, especially in places where like GPS may not work correctly. If I'm like trying to find the business, having a photo of the storefront's actually super helpful. Who here is posting on social media Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc. You can take that same content that you're posting on Instagram. You don't have to make evergreen content necessarily for Google, and just try posting some of it to your business profile. Obviously, there's limitations on file size, but if you're creating this, especially in this area of short-form video content, just take it, save it to your device reel, upload it to the business profile. I wouldn't say that we've quite nailed yet the distribution of some of that stuff, but we're going to start getting really good at it. So pro tip, try to get ahead of the curve. Maybe try it every few months. Also, when customers have found your business and they're like ready to take action, be ready to fulfill their needs. So let's talk about the different needs. Reservations. Who here has a restaurant that does reservations? Great. So we do have a view that allows you to find restaurants like based on a time and a table limit. It actually works across like different providers. So instead of having to click on a provider and then you can find a restaurant that has a table for 2 or 5 or whatever at 7 p.m. And narrow down that criteria. Who here does online orders, pickup order delivery? Decent number, all right. So through Business Profile, you can accept online food orders and you can accept reservations. And we also have a waitlist tool, which was, we didn't highlight it, but we have a list of waitlist partners, and it's a super handy feature for people that wait until the last minute like myself. Here's how people find different providers listed on your profile. Some of our partners send links for your business to Google directly, and we automatically add them, saving you the hassle of doing so. You can also add your own link and mark it as preferred, which we'll get to in a second. So within Business Profile, you can take third-party partners or partners that you're super stoked about. You can mark them as preferred. You can mark them as preferred for pickup, and maybe there's a delivery provider that gives you a really sweet deal, and you want to mark them preferred for delivery. You have that flexibility within Business Profile. And if you have multiple reservation platforms, you can similarly indicate those options. And this is really helpful for users because when there's a correlation between the preferred by business badge and also the best unit economics for the business, and also which tend to match one-to-one with like the best unit economics for a customer trying to place an order. So these badges actually do matter. You also want to be engaged with your customers. Businesses have historically engaged with Google through responding to reviews. Everyone seems to read and respond to reviews, continue to do so, even if their a customer is not super stoked. But we also have other ways for users to connect with Business Profile. Rev mentioned that he uses our business messaging chat feature. Great. If you're unable to keep up with chat, you don't necessarily have to use it. You can find other features that work for your business. There's a super handy Q&A feature within Business Profile that I use all the time, because it's like, even if a business has parking and it has a garage, like, does the garage validate? If so, how long? When I ask those Q&A questions, sometimes like they're crowdsourced and I'll get a response from like one of the Google local guides that's been in the business. But I tend to want to double check that answer. If it comes directly from the business, I know that that's a trusted source. You also want to be pretty clever about asking customers to leave reviews. There's this barbershop that I go to in Austin. It's called Lil Barber. I asked the owner what the Wi-Fi password was, and he said, leave a 5-star review. And I was like, yeah, Matt, I have. He's like, no, that's the password. And I was like, that's so smart. Leave a 5-star review. So what do you do with negative reviews? Like, they're they're just going to happen. They're a fact of life. I think everyone here knows not to freak out. Don't panic. Look at what they said. Thank them for their feedback. Even if I have a Zips dry cleaners or whatever, I had a not so great interaction with them with some dry cleaning. They did reply to my review, and that made me feel much better, and we were able to resolve things. So it goes a long way. It also, like some of these are just going to be unavoidable. It's like I ordered this and it came with this, which I don't like. It's like that's literally a fundamental building block. But I appreciate you taking the time to leave feedback. It just makes people feel heard, and that goes a long way. I also want to talk about business profile posts. Does anyone here post on business profile? I saw some. Okay, great. Previously called local posts. Now they're up. You can have different post types: events, offers, deals. Traditionally, these have showed in different parts of the business profile that aren't super discoverable. We do have this by owner tab, and it does get some traffic. These posts show up there. These posts also show up within the Explore tab of Google Maps. And further down the search results page, you can actually see a post if you're doing a search for like handcraft burgers and brews, and there's a recent post like we will feature it, and we rank it. It's like not the first thing you see, but it is on the page, and people do scroll pretty far down the page. But this is pretty big. When I say new, this is less than a month old. And we've started showing these types of posts and other types of search queries for events and deals. We can actually analyze the post, pull out whether it is an event or a deal, and feature it where it makes sense. So for example, and you can try this yourself. I'm not, telling a tall tale here. If you search for happy hour near me, scroll further down the results page, there are a few businesses that near here that are featuring a happy hour that is posted on Google. I would really love to grow this module and show more content and more options, but that's where I need your help. Like if we're not getting these posts, then we're limited in how many we can show on the search page. And speaking of posts, I would love everyone to post all the content on, within Business Profile, but I know that that's not always going to be the case, and there are other platforms that have like some really truly awesome creator tools. We've added a way to connect those directly to your business profile. Some of these are just like automatically added, but you want to go in and validate these links and add the social networks that you're posting most frequently on. So, whether that's a Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, like wherever you're active, we actually do show these on the search page. And if there's no post on Google and a user wants to follow you because they're a retained customer, like Rev said earlier, we can hop over to your Instagram and we can make sure that we're connecting them to the right page. Let's also talk about insights. So we've launched some food-specific, like restaurant-specific insights within search and maps. We've added menu clicks, so you can see how many people are viewing menu content within your profile, which is great. So if you add a bunch of photos, you might see a correlation between the menu performance chart and the return on your time. We've also added insights for things like food orders. So some of our partners, when an order is placed, actually tell us that order came from Business Profile, so you can see exactly how many orders or how many reservations are driven directly from your profile when that partner tells us that led to a transaction. So it's something to keep an eye on. You may have noticed it in the monthly report that we send out, the performance report for your business. You don't have to dig into the business profile. You get a recap every single month. It'll show you percentage change up, down. And then we also have those other insights as well. what are you can act on all the metrics. The 3 that I'm going to call out, which is really just a summary of what I just said, are searches. How are people finding you? Shockingly, but actually to the surprise of no one, I imagine everyone is going to have restaurants. It's like a top term. But you also might have, if you add that structured menu, you might find like Cotty Roll. It's like driving people to your business. I don't know how popular they are relative to other things on menus. But so these are food-specific metrics for you to just keep an eye on if you did want to run, some type of like a campaign. Like here's a playbook of things that you could try. So to recap what we learned today, I rambled on, and we talked about being there when customers are looking for you, staying relevant, showcasing offerings, being ready when customers are looking to take action. And action sometimes can just be like, save this restaurant to a list. I do that all the time. Be engaged with your customers, QA, chat, reviews, and leveraging insights to take action. You probably have some non-Google insights that you look at, but these are the ones that are relevant to search and maps. Lastly, thanks. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to attend this event. The space is beautiful, but I imagine that y'all, running a business. Actually, I know firsthand running a business is stressful. So I appreciate y'all coming, listening to myself, Mark, Sanjay, David, the panel, Rev, etc. And we'd like to say thanks by offering a credit to speak with the Google Small Business Advisor about how Google can help your business. Additionally, I'd really like to hear what landed, what should we be working on, what's like a problem that you're facing with Business Profile, what's a way that I can reduce friction for this audience. The way that you would tell me about that, if you can't find me in a social setting or before I leave to the airport tomorrow, would be to scan this QR code and take a 2-minute survey. And are we doing Q&A? Or did we run out of time? Q&A. Yes?
You said that's already working with the search for an event. How, are you have AI checking my posts to see if I'm maybe having an event?
So within the post feature, so when you go to Business Profile, and you click Add Update, which I believe, depending on
every day.
Great, awesome. And you create event type posts. Like there's an add offer, there's add update, and add event. If you add an event,
clicking event.
Yeah. So if there's like a jazz night or a brunch that you're doing, or I don't know, some type of a collaboration that's going on at your business, you can create that as an event. Say it's going to be on this day, this time. If you've got a photo, you can add a photo to it. You can add additional details, like if you've put something on your website, on if it requires a registration, you can add all of that within the post feature inside of Search and Maps.
Okay, cool.
That's where it comes from.
Add event, I'll do that.
Add event. Yeah, there's lights, so should have worn a hat.
Hi. Here.
Hi.
Yes. I do have a business, and also I manage around 28 business profiles for the restaurants and the cafes. When it comes to verification process for the NIP cafes and the restaurants, right now we are having a hard time to verify them. And also to remove some of the old restaurants, pictures. So if a customer has a blurry picture, this and that, and you wanted to remove them. And the third one that I can maybe add, there are a lot of fake reviews because of the competition in businesses.
Yeah.
How can we deal with this?
Yeah. Well, we do have a report review function. where you can include details. I wouldn't say that it's perfect, but being a global platform with 1 billion users means, unfortunately, you kind of have to deal with like some unscrupulous actors, we'll call them. So you may have to file a few reports, but I would encourage you to do that. Regarding photos, this one is really tricky. We pride ourselves on being an open platform and telling, both and showing both the user's perspective and the perspective from the business. I'm sure everyone here knows that when you go to, say, like a Jack in the Box or a Wendy's, if anyone's ever done that, they've got this like beautiful photo, and then you get the product and it looks nothing like that. I think that it's important for people to see that that's not what that looks like. When a photo is blurry, that's a little tough, right? Like, these photos will just kind of age out. So I think, Rev, you do a really awesome job of this because you're constantly updating photos, and it's like, you might have some photos that are just not great on your profile, but I would have to really hunt for them because you've added so many good ones. So that's one way to handle it. I don't have a silver bullet for you. Regarding postcards and verification, it's the same problem that we have with reviews in the space. Like, you can't make it too easy to get verified because people do hijack listings. It's super unfortunate, and unfortunately, some of those efforts to reduce that make it harder to verify legitimate listings. And I'm aware of that. And there's a team that works on that, and they have a roadmap and a plan, and you try to stay one step ahead. Yeah. Oh, green shirt. I think it's green. Seafoam.
As a small business owner who just opened up, I don't have time to go and upload photos as much as others. Is there any way you guys could have a feature where I could upload photos and like time and date them so they can upload on themselves? Like, I just have it in my drive and you guys pull from my photos that way.
It's a great idea. I would encourage you to scan the QR code and submit something like that. I will say that on maps in particular, like, whether you have an iPhone or Android, within your browser on that device, you can pull up photos. So whether that is sourced from Drive or it's just like something that's on your camera roll, you can do it like on the go. You don't necessarily need to go to like a computer to do it. But yeah, finding ways to like automate pulling out photos is definitely something I'm interested in. What's up?
It's worth your time to do it. Put it in your calendar, like 5 minutes on the first of every month. It's so worth it. And if you still don't have the time, you see that guy in the glasses with the red hair? He has an incredible tool that'll do it for you. That's it.
So we're trying to find a way to have a point of contact from Google, just like help us with the account manager. If they have a question, we can call them. Is that something Google has, or?
So we do have the small business advisor team, which is one of the things that by attending this, like you will have access to in a free session. That's probably the closest thing that I can offer. We also have a amazing team of community product experts on our help forum. In terms of a direct contact to Google account manager, yeah, it's not something that we're currently set up to do.
So for the advisor team, where can we find the team that you just mentioned about?
Lisa, I believe they're going to get something at the end of the session. Oh, yes, that's the catch, by the way. Great. I think we got a few minutes left.
Hi, everyone. sorry. I'll make this quick. But hi, I'm Jess. I am the lead for the Small Business Advisors program. That is what's up here on the screen. So as mentioned, you will get a free code for an appointment coming out of this event. Essentially what our program is a one-to-one optimizing and education program for small business owners who need help building or growing their online presence. So we have small business owners from like all levels of tech savviness, of familiarity with the tools. So we help people who maybe just like are just feeling really uncomfortable getting started. They're just not really sure how to get signed up for these tools. We'll walk you through it. You'll share your screen and our advisors will actually help you understand this is what the feature is, this is what it does, this is how it works, this is what you're gonna find, this is the insights. We'll help you understand which products Google has and how they can help you. Also, if you just find that like you're comfortable with the tools, but you don't have a lot of time, we can kind of help you figure out how to streamline that, how to set your goals, and how to work through that in the future. So please utilize your codes, book your appointments. I think that you'll find a lot of value in it.
I would say just one other thing to add. Yes, I agree. Applause, whoever just did that. This is available to you in addition to this free session. Like you can book these anytime. There is a cost to them, but they are free, or not free, but available whenever you need them. So wanted to shout that out. I think we have time for one more question.
Also green, I believe.
Thank you. Thank you. Just a second that we really need support and someone to talk to. So thanks for asking that question and providing the answer to that. My question though is, how can we pick our pictures that we want to show on our profile every time someone searches for us? I think it's random pictures.
They're not random. There is a formula to which photos we show. We try to strike a balance between things that are supplied directly by the business and things that customers supply that provide signals about the business. They're actually, it's unfortunate. There's a large portion of the market that doesn't engage with business profile, yet we need to be able to get pictures, and we do that through users on search and maps. I will say that shaking that up and finding ways to showcase content directly from the business is like something I've been very motivated to do for years, and I think we are having some success. For example, within the menu editor, if you add a bunch of menu items and you don't add photos, like we will show if we have if we think those are if that's a photo of edamame that a customer took, we will add the photo of edamame because we think it's helpful. If you supply the photo of edamame, it outranks the customer supplied photo of that dish in that view. So we are highlighting business content. We need to be doing more of it. And yeah. But there's a balance. And yeah. I'm sorry, what's the what?
What are the factors that are... So add on to the question, it was really helpful. We really want to know how you actually rank the photos. What are the factors or attributes as part of the algorithm that show those suggestions will be very helpful for us. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a little like asking what the formula is to Coca-Cola. So I can't quite like comment on like, different internal, like we look at like the brightness, or we look at the contrast, or we look at like some metadata from the photo or the resolution. A bunch of inputs go into it. Age, freshness, quality, like there are models that are designed to suss that out. But we're also about to be entering like an AI age, right? Where people can, generate photos that are wildly different from the actual experience. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun new chapter of like a game of cat and mouse. Yeah.
All right, we're out of time.
All right.
I think.
Thanks again, y'all.
Yeah. All right. Just so everybody knows, Mike's the guy for restaurants who's building all this stuff. So, like, please take advantage of that survey. Well, Mike's team. Please take advantage of that survey. We want your ideas. We want your feedback. So put it all in there because this does get considered as we're looking at our roadmaps.
Will we get that email to us? Because I don't know. You guys made it so easy to be in all my emails. I don't know any of my passwords anymore. So I can't just like, from my laptop.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, we can chat after this. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Hopefully you can stick around for the networking. Would love to meet many of you. So thanks for coming. Appreciate the time.
Our backs again.